So we all talk to AI, right? We ask it for stuff, to summarize things, to write our emails. But what if I told you that we've kind of been doing it wrong this whole time? That the real power, the real magic, isn't in the questions we ask, but in the instructions we give.
And that right there, that's the big idea we're going to unpack today. It's all about shifting our mindset from just asking an AI for an answer to actually instructing it on how to figure out the answer. It sounds like a small change, I know, but trust me, it unlocks a totally different level of what these things can do.
All right, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. You see, before we even type a single word, every major AI model out there is already working under a secret set of rules, a kind of hidden brain that shapes its entire personality, its whole vibe. And this thing has a name. It's called a system prompt. You can think of it like the AI's conscience, or maybe director's notes for an actor. It's this permanent script running in the background, constantly telling the model who it's supposed to be, what it can and can't do, and how it should behave.
Now, this is where it gets really wild. What you're seeing here are actual lines from the system prompts for Anthropic's Claude 3 models. So their most powerful one, Opus, is told to be intellectually curious. The speeding one, Haiku, is told to be quick and concise. But then you get these super specific, almost quirky rules. It's told it has to act as if it is completely face-blind. And get this, it's explicitly forbidden from starting a response with fluff like, "That's a good question," or "Fascinating." These are the invisible guardrails that are always on.
Okay, so that's the AI's internal rulebook. But what happens when we want it to solve a problem that's way harder than anything it's seen in its training? How do we actually teach it to reason its way through something brand new? And this quote from researchers at Google just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains the big hurdle here. We humans, we're amazing at this. We learn a simple skill, and then we apply it to a much harder challenge. AI, on the other hand, has always been pretty bad at this. If you only show it easy problems, it gets totally stuck when you hand it a hard one.
For a while, the best trick we had for this was something called chain of thought prompting. The idea was simple. Just ask the AI to think out loud and show its work step by step. And look, it's a pretty good method, but it definitely has its limits. It has a breaking point.
And right here, you can see the night and day difference. On the left, with chain of thought, the AI just plows straight ahead. It tries to solve the whole thing in one long, rambling thought. But look at the right. The new technique, least to most, doesn't even try to solve the problem at first. All it does is make a plan. It just asks, okay, what are the smaller, easier questions I need to answer first?
And that little move, that simple idea of making a plan first, is a total game changer. It's called least to most prompting, and it really just transforms how we can guide an AI through a seriously complex problem.
The strategy itself is so simple, it's beautiful. Step 1, you tell the AI, hey, before you do anything, just break this hard problem down into a list of easier steps. Step 2, then you say, okay, now solve those steps one by one and use the answer from step 1 to help you solve step 2. It's basically the difference between yelling, bake a cake at someone versus just giving them a recipe. You figure out the ingredients before you even think about the oven.
So, okay, does this extra step of making a plan actually matter? Is it really that big of a deal for an AI? Well, when the problems get genuinely difficult, the results aren't just a little better, they are absolutely mind-blowing. Let's just look at the data. Let's see what happens when you put these two methods head-to-head on a task that was literally designed to break an AI's ability to reason.
The test is a real beast. It's called SCAN. It's built to see if an AI, after learning simple commands like walk or turn left, can figure out some ridiculously complex new command like walk around right twice after run opposite left thrice. This is exactly that easy to hard kind of problem where AIs usually just fall flat on their face.
And the result is a knockout. It's not even a fair fight. The standard chain of thought method completely whiffs, only getting it right 16% of the time. But with least to most prompting, just by asking the AI to break it down first, the accuracy skyrockets to 99.7%. It goes from failing almost every single time to being practically perfect. I mean, just let that number sink in. 99.7%. And here's the craziest part. They achieved this by showing the AI just 14 examples. Other specialized models that have tried to crack this exact same problem, they had to be trained on over 15,000 examples to even get close. This is a massive, massive leap.
So what does all this mean? I mean, an 84-point jump in a lab test is cool for the researchers, but what does it mean for the rest of us, for how we're actually going to use this stuff?
Well, here's the bottom line.
This is why it matters. It means we finally have a reliable way to guide an AI to tackle problems far beyond what it was trained on. The AI stops being a simple Q&A machine and starts becoming a true partner, a collaborator that can help us reason through messy, multi-step challenges, whether it's in science or coding or business strategy. It proves that the art of talking to an AI is becoming just as critical as the AI model itself.
Which really just leaves us with this one huge final thought. Now that we have a simple, repeatable way to teach a machine how to reason, how to plan, and how to solve problems one step at a time, what's the first big, complicated human challenge we should ask it to help us break down?